I remember this one day I was sitting in my room and I just finished doing my morning work, so I was just like scripting and recording some videos, and now I was gonna start doing my morning routine. So I was gonna sit down, but then I remember something that I was gonna do this one morning. It was this new habit that I've been hearing about, reading about, that it was supposedly supposed to change my life. So I thought about it, and then I sat down and I started doing it. But I was no longer in my room though. I was at school speaking to this girl, making her laugh, teasing her, just such a beautiful manner. And after that, the bell rings and I head to my next class, and there's two girls sitting behind me, and I turn around and start speaking to them, teasing them as well, making them laugh. I see their faces so happy, their faces physically light up as I speak to them. And as I'm walking home, I feel this sense of like just accomplishment, but I'm still in my room fantasizing about all of this. Yeah, I didn't feel normal. I felt almost this sense of excitement and almost confidence that I carry out throughout the day. This almost excitement that I wanted to recreate what I visualized in real life. So then with this newfound confidence, I went to school. But nothing really happened. Like with all of this like excitement, confidence, nothing really happened. Until lunchtime, when I saw this girl, and I've spoken to her before, so I decided to walk up to her, tease her, just laugh with her, just having a little conversation before the next class started. And then the bell rings, and then I see these two girls sitting next to me, and I turn around and start speaking to them, laughing with them, teasing them. And then it hit me that everything that I visualized happened in real life. And as I was reflecting back on the story, it kind of just made sense as we react to what we see in our minds. For example, try and remember and almost visualize an embarrassing moment you had in your past. For example, maybe you like said something in class that nobody laughed at, just anything that like made you feel kind of embarrassed. And almost like think about it and think about it vividly. Even though you're not there, you can almost feel the fear and almost feel the pain that you felt at that moment. For example, I remember this one day, it was like back in primary school. I went to a Catholic primary school where we used to go to like churches and like sing a little bit as a choir, like usually our year. This was back in year 6, so about 4 years ago. So in year 6, I remember we all had to line up, our teacher made us line up, and we were all gonna get a quote based on our alphabetical name, if that makes sense. So basically, the first person in the register was like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, C, H, I, whatever, so on and so forth. So I didn't get any because for some reason, I don't know how, but I didn't get any. I'm pretty sure I just hid with one of my friends to not get a quote. And the days passed and we were rehearsing, singing in just class and practicing just the Christmas carols and whatever. And when the day was come, I told my teacher that I didn't have a quote. And she kind of started freaking out because she thought that everybody was like set up and this was going to be perfect. But then I didn't have a quote and my friend didn't have a quote either. And then she decided to give us a quote, which mine was like V. And one of the most painful things is that I'm going to recite it right now, which was like, V is for virgin, foretold by sage, God's revelation or prophecy page, something like that. And I was meant to say like in front of this big crowd in the church, and that was on the same day that this performance was going to happen. So I remember I went back home and I was actually running around my kitchen like reciting it to myself, V is for virgin, foretold by sage, God's revelation or prophecy page, V is like again and again and again, and to the point where I actually got it, because I remember I had this little note that I was just reading again. So when I got driven to the church with my dad and my family, they all sat down and we started singing, we started doing everything until we had to line up and say our quotes. And I remember the first verse was started and they said A for whatever, I can't really remember. And I was just kind of in my mind reciting V for virgin, for revelation, prophecy page, again and again and again. But eventually I hear the voices getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And I have to nudge my friend and tell him that I forgot my quote. And there's like a whole audience that's just waiting. And there's like a whole audience, like everyone's parents looking. So then I hear my friend literally say. So then the worst thing could happen. I start hearing my friend saying his quote, which was the word before V. I can't be asked to like see what it is, but he started saying da 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 whatever. And then his voice stopped. And what I literally felt like 5 minutes, I was like frozen in fear because I had like nothing. I completely forgot my quote, even though I like recited it so many times, I forgot it. And those 5 seconds literally felt like a whole hour of like fear and pain, where my teacher literally had to kind of almost like write it on a whiteboard and kind of whisper it to me. And I was like, V is for virgin, foretold by sage, and I almost recited like that. And then everything passed on, everybody just kind of continued. But even though that story happened 4 years ago, I almost like remember and visualize like little Matthew's pain and fear at that moment. And that's just a clear example of what you visualize in your mind is almost how you react IRL. And that wasn't really the only thing I learned that day, because now that I'm recording this video, I realized something. I remember back then, like 4 years ago, when I was like reciting my quote, I was almost visualizing myself forgetting the quote, like almost negatively seeing myself. I was like thinking, oh, I really hope I didn't forget my quote. And I was, for some reason, I was like visualizing myself like forgetting the quote in front of everyone, almost like what happened in real life. I was actually visualizing beforehand, just like the story I told you at the beginning of this video, just like speaking to these girls, teasing them, and it happened in real life. That's kind of what happened with forgetting my quote. I was almost visualizing myself forgetting my quote. Even though I was like reciting it and everything, I still forgot it. The thing that I realized that from reading Psycho-Cybernetics is that whatever we fixate on and whatever we obsess over, our minds are gonna relentlessly try to achieve it. Think about your subconscious mind. It's basically you 80% of the day. Interestingly enough, in the book that I was reading about all of this, which is Psycho-Cybernetics, there was this little study that basically there was this doctor and his student. Now these students had like these titles that they kept saying to themselves like, I'm dumb, I can't get higher than a C, whatever, I'm dumb, I can't study, maths isn't for me, or whatever. You've kind of heard this quote. Maybe when you were back in school, you heard people like say, oh, I'm just not good at art, I just can't draw, I'm just not good at maths is not my thing, whatever. So you get the point, right? And this doctor came in and he almost broke this like limiting belief of them. Like he told them like, stop obsessing over this and obsess over you actually being good at it. And these students, they didn't like revise more, they didn't like get better, they just almost broke this limiting belief that was holding themselves back, because they kept obsessing over themselves being like, just they can't do this, they can't do that. They kept obsessing over that, so therefore their subconscious mind had to almost play true to that belief. Once the doctor told them how to improve their self-image, they immediately saw an improvement in their grades and basically in everything academically. So the main lesson is, don't obsess over failure, because it's something really common that you've probably seen around just the world really. People like to obsess over failure for some reason. They keep like just in their minds, or you might have done this too. I remember I used to do this a lot. I used to like obsess over my mind, obsess about myself failing a lot, and I didn't realize at the time, but that actually trained my subconscious mind to almost play true to that belief. Your subconscious mind would just relentlessly try to achieve whatever you put in it. So you can either put something positive or just visualize yourself winning again and again, and your mind actually achieve that, or you can visualize the negative and watch yourself lose again. Now I personally want to win, and you probably do too. I remember about 2 years ago, I used to like obsess over my posture like a lot. I used to like kind of walk a little bit. I used to have bad posture obviously because I used to play video games or whatever, but then I like started fixing it. But then I kind of like was like super insecure about it, because I was like, I watched a video how to improve my posture, and I kind of realized how bad my posture was, and I used to like obsess over it a lot, and I used to think that I had really bad posture, so therefore that kind of made my confidence go down, and therefore my posture actually became worse, and I started hunching over more, even though my posture wasn't that bad. Just because I was overthinking it and seeing myself almost with bad posture, even though I didn't have bad posture, I played true to that belief that I had bad posture, so I almost started having bad posture, if that makes sense. But like I said a few seconds ago, if you obsess over failure, you get failure, then surely if you obsess over succeeding, you get success. And this is so true, and I'm going to tell you a little story where this actually happened to me, and it actually blew my mind on how powerful this actually was. So I remember there's one night, I was about to go to judo, and this was like a few months ago when I was like nervous to go to class, because I remember I almost fell off my judo. I like used to be really good, then my friend got really good because I stopped like really training as hard, because I was like trying to do business and whatever, even though it wasn't really like a smart way. I was like trying to obsess over business and not really obsess over my health. But anyway, basically I wasn't really training as much, and it wasn't really a good decision. But my friends started getting better than me, and I used to kind of like be a shell of what I could have been. I was like really bad at like randori, which is sparring in judo, and I remember I wanted to go to class, but before class I decided to actually try this new habit, which was visualizing. And so I closed my eyes and I started visualizing myself like attacking way more, because I remember my coaches always says, move, keep moving, keep attacking. They always say this because it's kind of like a mini golden rule in judo. You want to keep moving, because if you're static, then your opponent can start moving you, and then they dictate the match, and then when they're dictating, basically you're just out of control and you lose. But anyway, I was just visualizing myself like attacking again, dominating the fight, getting good grips and everything. I was just visualizing. I was visualizing so vividly, visualizing with this exact like girl that I used to go against. But she's not really a girl, she's like an adult, but you get the point. She was like an adult that I used to go against, that likes to go against everyone for some reason. And I was like visualizing myself like beating her, attacking her with like Sasai and Usudagari. These are like just some judo throws. But I was just visualizing it again and again. I was visualizing my friend. I was gonna attack, move, not get thrown, avoid his attacks, everything. And when I went to class, it was just a normal class and I didn't really think much of it. But then when I got to Randori, everything that I visualized actually happened in real life. Everything, like I was attacking way more. I almost set that goal in my mind, and that goal was achieved because of my subconscious mind. I was just attacking more. Obviously I had to put a little bit of conscious thought, but I was just attacking way more. And that day I literally improved by like 20%. And that was the day that this really blew my mind. Think about the fact you can literally improve that much in one day by just implementing one habit, by obsessing over it, winning instead of failing. It blew my mind that day, just how good I was able to get just because of this one habit. And from that day on, not only did I get that 20% buff, but I also got the self-image that I can actually be good at judo, and therefore I actually started improving a lot more from that point on. I started like really skyrocketing my skills. Even my coach said that I have really improved from back when I was like an orange belt. And that second lesson, that visualization can improve your self-image, it reminded me of me when I was in year 7. Because when I was back in year 7, I used to barely be able to, well, not really, I was gonna say barely be able to speak to girls, but I basically avoided them because I was like way too scared. I used to like be shy around them, just horrible speaking to them. I used to not be that much social. But over the course of year 8, year 9, year 10, like I just became the person who can speak to girls. It's not like I'm trying to become the person who speaks to girls. I just am the person who can tease them and speak to them. And there's another benefit you can get from self-image and visualizations, is that imagine you visualize yourself being confident at school and you visualize it so vividly. Like imagine you're speaking to this guy, speaking to this girl. Obviously that one day you'll become a little bit more confident because your mind will see that goal and it almost try to recreate it. And your mind can't really tell the difference between an imagination and a reality if you do it correctly. Because think about it this way, you might be hesitant like a little bit, like I was, like when I first heard about it, I was like, whoa, really? But think about it, there's two little examples. What happens when you visualize porn? Just, I know it sounds so silly, and when I first heard this, it kind of sounded a little bit goofy, but what happens? You get stimulated, like, you know what happens, your dick gets hard, let's be honest, okay? Like, if you really visualize it and you fantasize about it, your dick gets hard. So you get the point. But almost think about it, that and how you know anything is real. For example, how I know this tape is real is because I can see it and I can touch it. And think about it, the only way you can really know anything is real is through your 5 senses. The only way you can see anything is real is if you can see it, smell it, taste it, hear it, and feel it. I think those are the 5 senses. Maybe I missed that one, but whatever. That basically, you can recreate this exact same 5 senses in your mind. You can almost create a reality, a movie in your mind. And once you do that, your mind will think like, oh, this guy is actually a person who speaks to girls, so therefore he's just a person who speaks to girls. He's not like trying to speak to girls, he's just a person who speaks to girls. So you're updating your self-image. Instead of being the person who's trying to actually improve the social skills, you just are social, for example. Now obviously you can't just tell your mind, oh, to be good with that I'm good with girls, and expect your mind to believe it. You have to obviously build up your confidence. And I'm gonna give you a little bonus lesson that I learned, which basically like improved my confidence so quickly that I really wish I knew back in year 7. And that is that just basically speak to more girls. The more you do something, the more comfortable you become with it. Think about it this way, imagine the first time you started doing anything like a martial art, going to the gym. For example, let's just take going to the gym or doing a martial art. At the beginning you didn't really know how like the facility, first of all you didn't know what anything is, so you were kind of like a little bit lost. But now you actually know where everything is. You know where to go to change. For example, in a martial arts room, you know where the changing room is. You know kind of how to lock up your, like, you basically know all these tiny little things, and you become way more confident in the martial art or in the gym. And it's the same with speaking to girls. The more you speak to them, the more comfortable you become speaking to them. And also another bonus lesson that I also wish I knew was that to be confident, the only reason people are confident is you need to actually have a reason to be confident. What I realized is like you can't really fake it till you make it when it comes to confidence. You have to have a reason to actually be confident, because then it's actually authentic. For example, I can say that I'm confident because I've gone to the gym, I'm recording a video, even though I kind of don't really want to. It's 8 p.m. right now, and I can say tomorrow that, oh, I recorded that video and I actually did something, so I deserve to be confident. I have a YouTube channel that I've been working on. I deserve to be confident. You can think about it, even if it's just small wins. You can think about right now, like you went to the gym, even though you didn't really want to. You went to the gym, you pushed really hard, you did 10 push-ups. You can just think it that way. So now that you know all this knowledge, most YouTubers, now that I think about it, most YouTubers would just end the video here and just kind of leave you just with these 2 little pieces of advice and leave you, and you're probably going to be a little bit lost on how to integrate visualization into your life and everything, and you're probably just going to forget because you didn't really care that much to actually integrate them, because it's very unlikely that many people integrate it from just watching a video. So I'm actually going to give you a little tutorial, a little step-to-step plan for you to actually integrate into your life and actually benefit from this video instead of just wasting your time watching this video and not really learning anything like basically all the other YouTubers do that I've seen. So I want you to do this little practice with me. I want you to write 3 main goals of health, wealth and relationship, because those are the main 3 goals that you want to really focus on. For example, health, you can say your physique and like your jawline or whatever, like your acne, whatever. Just think about like health. Wealth, you can obviously your business, getting like, for example, a milestone in just whatever your business for wealth. And health, wealth and relationships is like becoming more social, improving your family life, just whatever you can think of. For example, my 3 goals are for health. It's just basically improve my shoulders, improve my lats, just get a bigger body, getting rid of acne, and developing my jawline and maxilla. And just as a little side note, just a little bonus tactic that I'm gonna give you, for you to develop your maxilla, basically pushes your whole face forward. That's how people like get really good jawlines. They have just really good developed maxillas. But anyway, getting back to the point, I want you to get like a journal, for example, a journal like this, and or just even if you can't get a journal, just do this. Get your, you can do this with your Windows. You can just split half of the screen. Like here, you can watch my YouTube video. You can watch a YouTube video here as I'm speaking right now, and get like a Notion thing, whatever here, and just like write down your 3 goals: health, wealth, and relationship. So you can do that. And the reason you want to write them down is because when you write them down, you activate imagination. And when you activate imagination, you not only get your subconscious mind to actually find ideas to actually achieve that goal, but you also improve your self-image, and you actually start to look for ways to actually achieve that goal, which is just an amazing benefit. Now with these goals, something that I've done personally is almost put like a time frame for them. For example, I put myself like, get rid of acne by the end of July, get rid of acne by the end of February. For example, get rid of acne by the end of February. This almost activates a law of Parkinson's law, where you almost fill up the time to achieve something. For example, let's say you have a deadline for homework on 1 month from now. You're probably going to think today, oh, I still got 4 weeks, I'll do it just later. Then when it gets to the 3rd week, you're going to think, oh, I still have 3 weeks, I'll just do it next week. Then when it gets to 2 weeks, you're going to be like, yeah, I still have a lot of time, it's not even that big of a project, I'll just keep pushing it off. Then it gets to 1 week, then you start thinking about it a little bit more. And then when it gets to like 3 days before the deadline, you start thinking like, oh wait, I still got 3 days, probably only gonna take me an hour, it's fine, I'll do it on Saturday or Sunday before Monday, which is like the deadline. And then when it's Sunday, you think like, oh, I need to like lock in, and you actually start speed running it, and you do it on that day. Even though you had that 1 month and you could have done it literally 1 month ago, you decided to do it on that last day because it almost felt like that was the time to be urgent. You almost felt like you had all this time to achieve that goal, and you actually started doing it when you realized it was close to the deadline. So right now you should have 3 goals: health, wealth, and relationship. And with the 3 goals, you should have a deadline for them, like by the end of February, or by the end of February, March, May, April, whatever. Just a few months from now. Make them. I want you to make them this. This is going to be something really helpful. This is going to be the word that's really, really going to help you with this. And it's the word, make them reasonably unreasonable. For example, you don't want to make them so unreasonable. For example, make $1 million per month by the end of this year. Obviously, that's very, very unlikely. Unless you're already making like a lot of money, which if you're watching this, then that's amazing. But anyway, for example, you can't just have such an unrealistic goal that you probably give up on. You also don't want to make it so easy that you're like, oh, it's just too easy. Like you start kind of almost giving up on it because you almost feel like you'll reach it anyway. So you want to make it reasonably unreasonable, where it challenges you a bit, where it's not too easy and it's not too hard. It's just like in that Goldilocks zone. And lastly, to get all these benefits that are basically spitting at you the whole video, which is like obsessing over you winning, and therefore you actually like get your subconscious mind actually start succeeding on its own and you do this by visualizing yourself being successful. You actually start acting more and more and more that way. For example, almost think about it like this. Imagine you visualize today. Obviously, you visualize today, you'll get a little benefit, but that little benefit, yeah, you might feel a little bit more confident. But imagine that benefit through 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, a week, a month, a year. Eventually, you're gonna become that confident person. You're not just gonna be visualizing, become more confident, and then just like almost forgetting it. You're gonna actually become that confident person, and therefore your life is just gonna become more better. You've heard that there's like studies, or at least I've heard them like saying more social people, confident people, good-looking people, they always get like higher paying jobs. Like they're usually just more social, have a better relationship. Like all those kind of like studies that you probably heard like on TikTok or something. Right now, think of a time when you can just do visualization. For example, I personally do them after. For example, I would wake up, take a little shower, like a cold shower if I can. If I'm like sick, obviously I would take a warm shower. But then I'll do some work, I'll script some videos, I'll record some videos, and then after that I would just visualize it. I'll do my morning routine, which in that morning routine I have visualizations. So every single morning after I wake up or after I do my work, I do my morning routine, and that morning routine is my visualizations. So you want to have a consistent time to do your visualizations, ideally in the morning, because then you can have almost the benefits, the buffs from the morning, and you carry them out throughout the day. But just find a time that you can actually do them. Even if it means that you have to work a little bit less in the morning or wake up a little bit early, I'm telling you, visualization is so worth it. It's almost like it's almost like going to the gym and not going to the gym. It's that difference between those two people. The person who goes to the gym is going to become more confident, is going to build that almost, instead of you building physical muscles, you're building with mental muscles, and you're going to become that difference between that person. Obviously in the first week, in the first month, there's not going to be a massive difference, but over the course of 1 year, you're definitely going to be a skinny person and a jacked person. Now that you have a time, you need to actually visualize correctly. Now that you have a time, a consistent time, that every single day, and the reason this is so good is because once that you have a time and a place, for example, let's say visualizing after I wake up in my room, then every single day you wake up, you're just gonna be reminded, oh, I need to visualize, oh, I need to visualize. You don't have to almost hope that you remember to visualize, you just kind of do, because the time is telling you. For example, let's say as soon as it hits 9 p.m, you realize, oh, time to visualize, or as soon as you finish your work, oh, time to do my morning routine, time to visualize. So now that you know how to visualize, now you need to actually do it correctly, which the 2 tips that I really wish I knew when I started, because I used to struggle with visualization for so long, because at the beginning I used to do them so well, I used to actually get the benefits, but then after a while, like, stop getting the benefits, I stopped becoming more confident, I stopped getting this feeling of the winner effect, which is almost like excitement in your chest, that almost good feeling of you visualizing. I stopped getting that, and I was wondering why. For so long, I stopped doing visualizations even, until I reread Psycho-Cybernetics, I started watching some YouTube videos, relearning everything, and then that's when I actually started visualizing correctly. And the 2 simple tips is just visualize vividly, visualize all your 5 senses, because that's how you recreate that almost reality in your mind, which is what we discussed earlier, that really makes your mind believe it, because if it doesn't believe it, then it's not going to really react to it. So visualize everything, like visualize almost the pressure in your feet from your shoes, visualize almost the air, visualize how you feel, the feelings, you feel excited, like almost visualize everything you can taste, hear, smell, see, hear, like basically everything, feel, like literally. So one very easy thing you could do is visualize almost the room you're in. That's something that really helped me. Just visualizing the room you're in is just really helpful. And then the second tip is almost take a deep breath and almost feel happy inside, like almost relax your body and almost just let your mind just train and just like really focus on what you want to visualize. And lastly, one thing that I recently learned, probably like a month ago, that really helped me is not to just visualize the materialistic success. It's not to visualize the money from your business. It's not to visualize the muscle from you working out. It's for you to visualize yourself actually becoming that person, and the person you actually become from doing. For example, let's say right now I'm scripting and recording this video. This is kind of like my work, my business, and therefore I'm kind of becoming a more social person, because I'm like able to articulate myself better. I'm becoming more confident, because obviously I have a reason to be more confident. And when it comes to the gym, for example, you can think about, instead of like visualizing your like shoulders being bigger and your lats being bigger and your bicep being bigger, just visualize yourself actually pushing to failure hard. Like your arm hurts so badly, you still push. Imagine you're training your mind to actually, like, you're almost training your mind to update your self-image. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, so many people don't train to failure. Like, I'm guilty to this. I always like let go of the weight like really early, even though I could probably do like 5 more sets to failure. I knew that I'll build way more muscle. I always like sometimes let go. But when you visualize like yourself push really hard, you start almost updating that self-image, and therefore you kind of become the person who pushes really hard. And also one like little tiny bonus mindset that I learned recently is almost think about your muscle. This is related to the gym real quick, is that almost see the sensation of pain as in the gym, almost just a sensation that means that you're going to grow your muscles. This really is a mindset that helped me grow muscles in the gym. And also think about the fact that the more pain your body feels, it triggers your mind to think, oh, this body part is feeling a lot of pain, it needs to adapt and become bigger. So the more pain you actually feel, the more your body will have to like focus on making it bigger, so you can actually not feel that pain, if that almost makes sense. So now that you know all of this, of visualizing vividly with using your 5 senses, taking a deep breath and just relaxing your body, and visualizing not only the materialistic success, but visualizing the person you're actually becoming and the person you're actually like doing the action. For example, you're going to become more confident, you're going to become more like almost speaking to girls because of going to the gym or whatever, or you get the point, basically becoming the person. Then now let's just visualize together. Let's do a little visualization. I'm going to give you like 30 seconds. I'm going to visualize with you. So right now, let's put everything to action. Let's just take a deep breath. Like me and you right now, I want you to really do this with me, because it will help you so much. Like actually remember this and integrate it into your life. So just let's take a deep breath together. And almost relax your body and feel happy inside. Like I said, you should have like your 3 main goals of like health, wealth, and relationship. Just pick one, or just visualize all 3 for like 10 seconds, and just visualize them for like a little bit. So for example, for me, I'm gonna visualize like the gym. So close your eyes and just start visualizing. Visualize almost the sensation in your feet, visualizing the pain of you doing like bicep curls with like weights. Visualize yourself doing lat pull downs, pull-ups. Just visualize everything. Visualize the person you're actually becoming. Now that you actually visualize it, you should almost have a smile in your face from like, for example, what I just visualized that made me smile on my face was thinking about the fact that I'm recording this video and I'm improving my articulation, my ability to speak. And I was like seeing myself like speaking to a girl really, really clearly and seeing her beautiful smile. And just one final tip that crossed my mind is that you don't want to see it so big. This is a little like really specific, but I know really help is like, don't see, for example, don't fixate exactly on the words when speaking to a girl, if that makes sense. For example, let's say you're visualizing about you speaking to a girl. You don't want to visualize yourself just speaking to that girl and visualizing the exact words, like this almost script to script, like thinking, okay, I'll say this, hey baby girl, what are you doing? For example, okay, that sounds crazy, but you get the point. You don't want to visualize exactly the word you're gonna say. For example, like, hey, whatever, and then you expect, like, visualize her reply and then you reply and almost practicing in your mind. That can be helpful, but you're almost gonna kind of play on this script, and that's not really gonna help your self-image. What is way more beneficial, and this is something that helped me really, really low, and this is something that's really, really good when it comes to speaking to girls, is that instead of you kind of like overthinking, thinking about like what am I going to say to this girl, what pickup line can I use, don't do that. Just visualize, just literally take a deep breath and visualize yourself just having a good conversation with her, and almost come in with the mindset that she already likes you. Imagine if you come in with that much confidence, thinking like, oh yeah, she likes me, and you almost visualize yourself having a good conversation with her. Your mind is gonna think, oh yeah, it's chill, I can speak to her, I can have like a good conversation with her, I'm gonna be confident with her. And even though like that might not be true, she might not like you, she might not really kind of be into you, but just because you displayed yourself in a confident way, just because you actually had that visualization and therefore you became confident, you actually probably created some attraction with her. Think about how crazy that is. You can almost change your reality based on what you saw in your mind. And just one quick final thing that I want to mention is that if you don't almost feel that confidence in your, almost that excitement in your chest and that smile on your face because of what you visualized, then you probably did something wrong. You probably didn't visualize vividly, or you just didn't really, your mind didn't really believe what you saw in your mind. I'm telling you, from my own experience, every single time I don't feel that excitement in my chest, it's because I did something wrong. Every single time. It's never because visualization don't work, because I'm telling you, they definitely do. It just makes sense. Think about it. Every single time you visualize porn, your dick gets hard. It's not like it's just sometimes you visualize porn and then your dick gets hard. It's every single time if you visualize it vividly. So if you visualize your success being vivid, then your mind and body is gonna think it's reality, and therefore they're gonna get ready, and therefore you're gonna become more excited. Just like when you visualize porn, what is really happening is your mind is thinking like, oh, getting ready to actually have, well, sex. I don't really want to say just to get demonetized or whatever. So everything you're doing right now is almost using your mind constructively to almost build your reality. And I was like doing this little cheeky thing that I thought would be fun, is like almost add a little quote to the end. So I was like asking ChatGPT, because I couldn't really think of a really, really good quote. So I'm gonna read it out to you what ChatGPT said. And it said, because your mind is architect of your reality, build it with purpose, visualize with clarity, and let's take action with confidence.